Welcome back to Homeschooling Mama. So, I have two daughters. I homeschool 5 daughters. I have two daughters who did dual credit classes at our local community college this semester. I want to give you some tips. They did do well. One daughter got all A's, one got 1B, but she got an A. And I just want to share with you a couple tips that you can use for your child, or if you're a child that you can use that's doing dual credit for yourself, but to be successful in your college courses for dual credit. Some of the things that I would like to share with you that I think that will be helpful to you. I checked all of my kids' classwork. I graded everything before they turned it in. So they did very well on everything. They got A's on everything, usually hundreds, but high A's on everything that they turned in because I checked everything before they turned it in. And so that was really good. But because there were things that were going on, and because I had a lot of medical things that were going on, I wasn't always in the best place to be grading their stuff. It wasn't always an opportune time for me. So I would still grade it, but I wasn't always very confident in my grading because I just wasn't in the best place to be doing that. So even after I looked over it and they made the corrections according to what I saw, we did some other things, and here's what I'm going to share with you. Every college has computer labs, math labs, writing labs, reading labs. Utilize those things. Those are there. They're free tools that help children, college students, to excel and be successful in college. You know, every paper you have to write, even if it's just a paragraph, you can go to the writing lab. They'll help you write that writing lab. They'll grade it for you, tell you things that you can do. Now, we did go up to the college several times this semester for different things and to utilize different things. However, we didn't use the writing labs or the labs that are on the college campus. What we thought worked best for us were the online things. Now, if you're taking online courses, you're going to be offered like 300 hours of online help where you can get help writing your papers, help solving problems, understanding concepts, help with math. You're going to get 300 hours of homework help. That's a good tool to have. Sometimes on certain hours they have live tutoring on there. A lot of times there's things you could submit and it takes 2 days to get it back. We did not utilize that much. We did utilize it some, especially during some of the off hours for other things where we needed help. They had hours that we could use, so we did utilize that some. But what I used primarily was our local library. Your libraries have your libraries have a lot of resources for schooling, and they have live tutoring. They also have it just like the college campuses where you can submit some stuff, they'll grade it and turn it back to you in 2 business days. 2 business days is too slow for me. I wanted things back right away. We did submit some stuff on that, but we found that it was better to get the live tutoring and the live help so that we can keep on schedule with everything that we needed. So on the library, our city's library, we can go on there and get from 3 o'clock to midnight, Monday through Sunday. So 7 days a week, you can get live tutoring help. That's really great. You can put in your question, you can put in your problem, you can put in whatever you need, and somebody will sit there and you can talk to each other, type back and forth and talk to each other. If you have a paper, if you have a paragraph, if you have anything that you need to submit, some type of a discussion, you can submit it, and they will give you their feedback on it. There's also BrainFuse. BrainFuse work with a lot of the libraries, so your library may use the BrainFuse on that, but you can go to brainfuse.com, which is an excellent resource, and get a lot of live tutoring. It's for K through 12, it's for adults. They help you with resumes, they help with everything. So we use BrainFuse a lot in our library, a lot. What I like about them, you all, listen up, this is great. If your child has to turn in a paper, they have an essay, they have a report, it doesn't matter. My children did like 8 to 12 page reports, and somebody will sit there with you. You send in a copy to them, you submit it, the live tutor will come on, and they'll go through the entire paper with you. And they'll underline stuff, they'll show you stuff, and they'll text and type and tell you what they think about that, or ask questions about that. And you can change it right there while they're online with you. That's great. Now you can't change it on the part that they can see. You can go on your paper and you can change it. There are some good ones, tutors, live tutors, and there's some better live tutors, right? So they'll go through and help with stuff. You get 30 minutes with them at a time to go through a paper. And the good ones will take the entire 30 minutes. They'll go through it with you, they'll talk to you, and then they'll go back over it. We had tutors go back over, large papers with us 4-5 times. And even when you get off, when that 30 minutes is up with that tutor, you can get back on and request the same person, and they'll come back and help you again. Or you can go to another person. And the way we did it was we would go through with the person, let them go through, we make all the changes we need to make, discuss different changes that we need to make with it. We spend that whole 30 minutes with them. After I've graded, we would do this. And then, so that's another eye that's looking at it. And then when that tutor is done, we submit it again to a different tutor. And we have that tutor go through it. And we would do that until those papers were 100% spot on. And so that's how my girls got. They had to both turn in, let's see, they had a 2 to 3 page paper, a 6 to 8 page paper, and then like a 12 page paper. For both of them, they had to do these. And we used those resources that BrainFuse in our library until we got those, and they got 100% on every paper. No grammar mistakes, no anything. Everything, it was in order. It flowed properly. Everything you want to look for, they got it. So that would be my first tip, is to use those resources. Use your labs. There are a lot of labs out there that you could use, so use them. The second thing that I would, I should have brought it with me. I'm scanning real quick to see where it's at. I still have all my resources and all my college books. And so when they had to write their papers, there is a MLA standard book that tells you, it helps you with everything you need to know. I have a couple of them. It helps you with everything that you need to know for writing a paper. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can grab that for you real quick. Alright, I found it. Well, you guys seen one of my other videos, I told you we're hard on books. The cover is missing. And this book is like years old, right? It's an old book. This was one of the books that I used in college. But here, let me show you on the side. Can you see that? There it is. A writer's reference. So it gives you the MLA style of writing. So if you're writing a paper or anything like that, it helps you with everything dealing with writing. We use it a lot for our site page, our bibliography, how to deal with references. It tells you, how much spacing should be on your paper. Talks about everything. Colons, semicolons, parallelism. It just is how to document. It just talks about everything. And so this is a really good book. I have a couple other versions of this book somewhere around here, but this is the one we really used this year. I'll show you the back cover. I don't know. Well, there's nothing on there, but this is the one that I really use. How to use this book is what this says on here, and it tells you how to use it. But this is a good reference, and it has little tabs that tell you all the different things on there you can do. Composing and revising, document design, effective sentence writing, word choice, grammatical sentences, ESL trouble spots, punctuation, spelling, mechanics, MLA documentation, research writing, spelling and mechanics. I read that one. Alternative styles of documentation, basic grammar. So those are the tabs in this book, and this is something that we used a lot. Another book that we used was The Writer's Express. And I'm actually going to do a video on this book. It's a great book. Now this book goes more into details than this book, and this book is actually I would say for lower levels, for lower grades. I use this to teach out of for my family. but it is like right here. This is what we use for our science papers, learning how to write a science report, things like that. So if you can see, it's not like a college book, but it does break stuff down. It breaks down how to write papers, how to brainstorm, how to do your note cards, how to do like newspaper articles, how to pre-write. It goes over everything. So I use this book a lot. And for the really younger ones, this is what comes with it right away. But for the college girls, we refer to this a little bit, but and I use this in my regular homeschooling a lot for teaching, but this is what we use a lot. And I would suggest you get an MLA writing style book as well. But that's what we did. We used the MLA style book. We used the labs a lot. I would suggest that you use your labs as much as possible, and they're a lot. They're available to you. The time, the hours and stuff are real good at being available to you. Another tip that I would also give you, my third tip would be, if you're taking classes online, go up to the college campus and meet your instructors. They have office hours. I would just let them know, hey, you know, is this a good day and a good time for you during their office hours? Is it all right if I come and visit? So that they can be aware that you're coming and they can make sure they're in there, because people have office hours, but they're not always in their office hours. So I would just do that and go up there and meet the teachers. It makes a difference. We had some things come up. We met the teachers. We talked to the teachers. Some teachers we already knew before the things came up. But it makes a difference when the teacher knows, because they have all these students, right? And when you're online, they don't know these kids from the next one. But when you go and you meet with them face to face, you stand out. They know who you are. They're more eager to help you, to give you, you know, wisdom, to be lenient if you need leniency. It's just a good thing to be able to have your teachers know your face, and for you to be able to put a face on the person that you're dealing with. Because when you're doing online classes, you're going to need to interact with the teachers. You're wise if you interact with the teachers. And if they know who they're interacting with, you're apt to be able to pull more from them and have a good rapport with them, to be able to work with them more and know who you're dealing with. Because a personality online is totally different from the personality you get face to face. And you need to know who you're dealing with, and they need to know who they're dealing with as well. The next thing I would tell you is ask the question. My children would have questions. There's a lot of things that was unclear at times. Even though you're dealing with college professors and everything's written out, there's not a lot of clarity oftentimes. And so you have to ask the question. Never be afraid to ask the questions, and to keep asking questions. I would tell my kids, even if you ask a question and but their answer wasn't clear, ask it again. If you see that you're not getting anywhere, go up there and meet the instructor. So those are things that I think would be really helpful. Let me think for a second. You know what I would tell you that's really helpful? You know, if you have your laptops and computers and you have a lot of resources in your home, that's a blessing. That's a great thing. If you don't despair. Work what you got, right? Do your best with what you have, instead of feeling like, oh, I need this, or oh, I need that. You don't need to go out and spend a lot of money to get the top of the line, such and such and such and such. Whatever you have, working on that level. If you don't have, you got your libraries that have a lot of stuff that you can use. They got computers, they got laptops, they have all of that. The school has a lot of things that are open for you, and the hours are great because the school's open from early to late, right? Because they have evening courses. You can go up to the school, utilize the things that are there for you. Utilize the libraries, both the school libraries and the public libraries. But you know, if you're in college, you can utilize other libraries at other colleges as well. But I would just tell you that to make sure you utilize the tools that are available for you. Also, the internet, as you know, has a lot of good tutorials out there. I would watch tutorials. My children would watch tutorials. Go get a refresher. If they had to work on something, if my daughter, like with economics, there's some subjects that was a little hard for her to get, let's watch some tutorials on it. Let's watch some videos on it. Let's see what we can get. There's a lot of things you can go to your library and rent out. There's also, you can go to Barnes & Noble or other bookstores, especially like with your math classes and stuff. They have a lot of tutorials that you can purchase that can help you to be able to go through some things. Now, if you're doing online classes, there's this thing out there where they have some stuff where you can, like in the economics or the math, we can go and do some practice on it online, but the practice is limited that the school offers. So when the practice is limited that the school offers and your child needs more practice, my daughter needs more practice to make sure that she really got it, but also I wanted her to maintain it so that she can be prepared for the finals, because they hit a subject and move on, and then you get a test on it in the finals. So I didn't want her to forget the things, the math and the equations and the formulas that she had learned for economics by the end of the course. So a lot of times what we did, there's a lot of resources depending upon your subject that you're learning where you can get free practice online. And Khan Academy gives you a lot of good practice for some things, but you still need to kind of supplement Khan Academy because you want different questions to come up eventually. And some things on Khan Academy you don't get different questions to come up. So to get a lot of variety in it, I would just go online and pull up a lot of different things that either she could do a worksheet on, or she can just do online games or online practice to help her to really get that redundancy and that practice she needed to maintain that information, or to really just get enough practice in doing the information. So utilize the tools that are out there for you to help you to get good success. If it's a subject that you as a parent aren't comfortable with teaching the child, there's things out there that can help you where you don't have to be an expert. It could teach you right along with the kid if you wanted it to, right? Where you don't have to feel like the pressure is on you to have to be an expert in these things. There's a lot of things out there. Go ahead and utilize those tools. There's no reason for us to not succeed, or for our children to not succeed in this day and time and age in life, right? Because there's so much out there. So I hope something in those tools were helpful for you. Until next time, bye.